If you keep buying books from Amazon, Half Price Bookstore, Barnes & Noble, or wherever else you buy books, and you never actually seem to make time to read them, this video is for you. Hey gorgeous, welcome back to my channel. I'm Linda McGee and you're watching Lavishly Linda, where I share beauty, wellness, and lifestyle tips to help you look good, feel good, so you can step into who you are and create a beautiful, intentional life. And in today's video, I'm gonna share with you 5 simple tips that are gonna help you start reading the books that are collecting dust on your bookshelf so that you can stop feeling guilty about buying so many books all the time, and you'll actually feel good about the books that you're reading so that you can continue buying books. I feel like I'm enabling your habit by giving you tips on how to read the ones you have, but I digress. Before we go any further, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and like this video so that I know that I am not talking to myself in this giant, never-ending YouTube void, okay? Because yeah, I don't want to be talking to myself. The process of actually filming a YouTube video is already a little awkward, so knowing that you are listening and you're watching is reassuring. So since the year began, I have read about 11 books, and the one thing I can say is that reading is a skill, and just like any other skill, you have to learn it, you have to practice it, and once you practice it, it becomes a habit, and once it becomes a habit, then it becomes easier to do over time. If you didn't already know, reading has so many great benefits, such as mental stimulation, improved focus and concentration. It expands your knowledge on so many amazing topics. It takes you into a whole different world and immerses you in like a whole fantasy world, especially if you're into fantasy book. It also improves your writing skills, so you'll be a better writer, and it also improves your vocabulary, which makes you have the ability to express yourself in so many different ways than just the basic English that everybody knows. A little backstory. I used to be a book buying addict. I used to screenshot books on Instagram, screenshot books wherever I saw them, and add them to my Amazon wish list. And every time I needed to get something from Amazon, I would like add a book to the order, buy it, it would come over, and like I'll just, oh, the book is here, put it on my shelf, forget about it, find it, look at another one. So it became like over time, I realized that it was a very unsustainable habit. Like, you can't just keep buying books. And someone who will not be named kind of called me out. I was like, okay, you need to stop buying books if you're not gonna be reading them, because you're wasting money, and we don't wanna be wasting money. So I went into my bank statements and I calculated how much I had spent on books this year and last year, and I could have bought a whole skincare routine of full-size products from Sephora.
What?
If you know, you know. So here are the 5 tried and true tips to help you read more books. Now the first step seems like a no-brainer, but it's a no-brainer for a reason. You have to make time to read. I started out by scheduling 1 hour in my morning routine to actually read the books that I have been collecting. Now you can start out with 30 minutes and then increase it to 1 hour, or you can kind of just start out with like a 15-minute window and then gradually increase that. The other thing is steal pockets of time in your day where you're doing nothing, or you're maybe just like wasting time watching too much TV, and just dedicate that to read. Like, grab a book, read a few pages. You can either start with like dedicating a specific number of pages to read, or you can dedicate a time window, whichever works best for you. You can kind of decide on that, but you have to make time to read. Otherwise, like, if you don't make time to read, then you can't really read, right? The second tip is create a reading list. Now, you're not buying another book to add to your reading list. You are going through all of the books that you've already bought, and you're making a reading list out of those. One thing I can share is that figure out why you bought that book. You're more inclined to read a book if you know exactly what you're going to benefit from it and what goal it's going to help you achieve in the long run. Like, for example, I read Secrets of Six-Figure Women because I'm on my way to becoming a 6-figure businesswoman. And then I read Winning because I like winning. I'm a winner. So create a reading list. You can either make it a monthly reading list, or you can make it a bi-monthly reading list. So you're reading a book every 2 months or every 3 months. However long it takes you to read a book, the more you read, the faster you're gonna be able to read. So in the beginning, it's gonna be a little hazy. You're gonna get a lot, distracted a lot and all of that. Don't worry about it. Keep reading. Keep pushing. Even if I know that I have read a page more than 3 times. If I have read a page more than 3 times, that means that I need a mini break. Like, I put the book down and go do something else, and then come back, read it one more time, and move on to the next one. So sometimes you're gonna be like stuck on the same page. Like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And another tip that I can share is when you're reading, highlight things that stand out to you the most. Take notes, do all of that. Did I just crack my knuckles? I just cracked My knuckles in the middle. The next one is something that I created, that I came up with. I have not seen anybody else with this, so yeah. But set up a rewards program. Now, what's a rewards program? It means that for every number of books that you read from beginning to end, you reward yourself by buying another book. Now, this is gonna help you curb that habit of repeatedly buying. Like, if you're a book buying addict, you don't wanna necessarily just like stop buying books completely, because that's gonna just be like, so you want to make sure that you're reading the books that you have, but you're also rewarding yourself by getting another book. That is something that I do. I read, for every 3 books that I read, I buy myself 1 book. Not for you, it can be every 1 book that you read, you buy another book, or every 2 books that you read, you buy another book, or every 6 books. Whatever number you want to come up with, just make sure that you are rewarding yourself for the books that you've set to finish. The next tip is something that's very special to me. It is join a book club. Now, book clubs will keep you accountable. They will keep you on your toes. They'll make sure that you have that accountability, you have that community, and you have that kind of support that you need to keep reading books, especially because when you're reading alone, it can be really hard to keep going when you're like, oh, why am I reading this? I could be doing something else. But that kind of community really keeps you connected so that you can continue reading your books the way that you planned to. Now, this tip is special to me because in November of 2020, right? 2020, yeah, because 2022 is next year. Time is moving so fast. It's hard, like, I can't believe it's already August. That's crazy to me. But yeah, in November of 2020, I created a book club, and so far we have about like 6 to 10 members, and it has been the most amazing experience ever. I think I largely attribute the fact that I've read so many books this year because of the book club, because you can't be in a book club and not read the books. Like, that kind of defeats the purpose of being in a book club, because there's a level of accountability that comes with it. So if you want to join my book club, I'll leave the link down below, and you can complete the form, and I'll reply to you and let you know if you're in or if you're not. I want to make sure that every single person that joins the book club is really committed. There's a little bit of a process that goes into selecting the members. It is a curated list of members. So how it's set up is we decide as a group on the book that we want to read next. We choose a group leader, and then we read the book, check in every week, and then once a month we do a book club meeting, and we talk about the book, what we learned, and everything that we're going to implement. And then after that, we move on to the next book. So that has really largely contributed to my ability to read so many books in 1 year. The last tip is designate a reading space. I have a cozy space where I read, which is my couch. I create a kind of like ambiance feeling to it. So I light up a candle, I turn on all of the lights so that it's bright enough for me to see what I'm reading and I'm not feeling like sleepy or any of that. And then I turn on some sounds so that not necessarily to avoid distraction, but to create like a feeling, because I want to associate reading with relaxation and having a peaceful time, and that will kind of make it a lot easier for you to read, because if you associate reading with having peace of mind, then you're more likely to seek that when you're kind of going through a hard time, because life gets hard. So any time that you can create something that gives you peace of mind, go for it. So create a cozy space where you read. That will make you kind of like, it can be a chair. You can have like a really nice chair that allows you to prop your feet up, recline a little bit, and just sit down, read, and enjoy yourself. And then bonus tip, I bet you did not see that coming. Read before bed. So before bedtime is when we're kind of like prone to scrolling on the phone, wasting time, laughing at TikTok videos. So instead of doing that, turn on your sleep sounds or your sleep music or your ambiance sound, open your book and read. I promise you're not even gonna last 1 hour. And if you do, you're probably gonna stay up all night reading the book, especially if it's a fantasy book. Like, I have stayed up reading Harry Potter all night. From beginning to end, I stayed up. Like, I used to be a fast reader until I grew up, and then I stopped, and then now I'm kind of like getting back to that pace. But read before bed so that you avoid scrolling mindlessly on social media. I have nothing against scrolling on social media, but you want to make sure that you're not wasting so much time just looking at images nonstop. You're wasting time that you could use to do something better, like rest. So the next time you find yourself swooning over a book on Instagram or on Pinterest, on Facebook, wherever you see the book, add it to your rewards list, read the ones you have, and then buy that book when you're done with reading 2 or 3 or 1. And yeah, you won't feel so guilty about it, I promise. Like, if someone comes to you and they're like, you keep buying books. Well, yeah, I read the books I have, duh. That's why I buy more books, because I'm done reading the ones I have. And you'll be like, yeah, I'm a reader. I read books. What about it? Comment down below and let me know which one was your favorite tip, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.